Com.
Here we go. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. You have made it. You've made it. You are near the finish line. You've made it to Friday here in the Bureau. Friday of game week. And so you had games last night, college games. You had some high school games around the state of Mississippi. You've got them tonight. A whole slate of high school football around the state kicking it off tonight. You also have some college games, Baylor and Auburn. So we'll get another SEC team. Missouri looked pretty good last night after they stretched their legs out early in that ball game. And then, of course, tomorrow it all gets started. State and Southern Miss playing each other in Hattiesburg tomorrow. It's a full slate of SEC games and a little bit of everything. And I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but I'm tickled that it's finally here. That, you know, even today, here on this Friday, we're doing a little bit of reviewing because, like I say, we saw Alcorn State last night. We saw Missouri, some of that. And by the time we get here on Monday, it will be in full-on reaction Monday mode, and it'll be dandy. All right, so hey to you on this Friday. Thanks for being here. I'm here. Beeves here. Most importantly, you are here. We have a reason to be here if you're here. So there's several ways you can be a part of the show. You can comment on the live stream, all right? So, hey to you. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or out there in formerly Twitter land, then feel free to type in a comment. Pop it up here in the comment section. I can see all of it in one column here. We'll put it up on the screen, and we can chat it up. All right. For example, Sven, he's over in Germany. He commented first. He's on YouTube. He said, "Hail State, everyone. This is the reason the Dallas Cowboys are irrelevant since the 90s. Their GM, Jerry Jones, traded Micah Parsons to Green Bay. Worst GM ever, Jerry." And said, "And welcome to a 5-win season." So we're off and running over there. You can also text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776. That's a 601 number. So if you text that number, I'll get it here on the Country Pleasing text line. I can see all of them. That's as in Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. Made here in Mississippi. Comes from Country Meat Packers on Highway 49 in Florence. And a bunch of y'all going to go right by there tomorrow, either tonight or tomorrow when you're going to Hattiesburg for the ball game. So stop in there. And again, the number to text is 885-3776. You may also call me on the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company, fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. Fuel in your stomach over at the deli, fuel in your vehicle out at the pump. That's Prince Oil and the Junction Delis. The Junction phone number to call, 897-1059. Got it? And also a 601 number, 897-1059. So there are several questions that persist here on this Friday, like, what did you watch last night? Okay, which college games did you watch last night? What were your observations coming away? Little questions coming away from what you saw last night. Who will you watch tomorrow? Games you're interested in. If you got picks you want to lay out there and have them attached to your name, let us hear it. All that and more. Hey, what about Beaver on a Friday? Beav, how you doing? Good. And by the way, I don't know where he is, but wherever Bill is, happy birthday to Mrs. Bill. That's right. Bill's wife, Kathy, having her birthday today. And wherever you are, Mrs. Wilson, listen. Prayers for you, putting up with Bill all these years. And happy birthday. I mean it, too. Putting up with Bill all these years. I bet he means it, too. He knows. So happy birthday to you. Why don't we, on schedule this time, why don't we hit headlines? Here we go.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show. Brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank right here in Mississippi. Go to mortgagemanms.com, mortgagemanms.com. Anything mortgage-related, buying, refinancing, whatever, that's where you go. So headline number one is what Sven mentioned, and of course it's everybody's headline. It's made all the news and all the talk since last night. No point in being deep in the echo chamber here along with everybody else. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys did trade away Micah Parsons. You know, the thing about it is Parsons acted like a big old baby the last 2-3 weeks here, wanting a trade and, pouting over there and acting like he's sleeping on the sideline. When it gets to that point, you can't have him around, period. You got to get rid of him. I don't care who it is when it gets to that point. And so they trade him to the Packers, get a couple first-round picks, get a defensive tackle, all that, and we'll see how it plays out. Consensus out there seems to be that Parsons gave him a chance, and without him, they have no chance. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be any good with him this year. That's just my take on it. But moving on. Now, how about this? How about this from the SEC? So LSU has a football player who is going to be suspended for the first half of their game against Clemson this coming weekend in week one. He will be suspended for the first half. It goes back to something that happened in the last game he played last year, and apparently nobody expected it, including LSU. LSU starting safety A.J. Hawley will be suspended for the first half of Saturday's game against Clemson. I'm sorry, I said Hawley. It's Halsey. Halsey transferred to LSU in May from Houston. He was considered one of the top defensive players in the entire portal class this year. Big-time player, right? Well, the deal is he got in a fight in the final regular season game last year playing for Houston. All right? Kicked out. Well, that was in the second half. So according to NCAA rules, you get kicked out, you go sit the first half of the very next game you play. And we have now learned that carries over from one school to the next. The transfer portal does not break that chain of suspension. And LSU wasn't figuring on that. They found it out, yesterday. And the news behind the scenes was that the reason that it all came about is because Clemson tattled on them. That's really the going belief out there is that Clemson snuck around behind the scenes and said, hey, NCAA. This cat that they got on their team that we're playing against, he got in that fight, in his last game. So he really, according to your rule, he shouldn't be able to play this Saturday, the first half, right? Might want to check up on that. That's the word. Anyway, they say Clemson did that. And so those headlines, and you have these scores from last night. We were just talking about it yesterday. I think it was Terrence who he brought it up. He shares an opinion with me and many others that coming out with, in college football, especially in the transfer portal era, that coming out with preseason rankings and early season rankings are really silly. Well, prime example last night, right? They've got Boise State, somebody does, had them ranked 25th, had Boise State ranked 25th. And they had some returning players at Boise State. They were pretty good last year. On the road in Tampa, playing unranked South Florida, and South Florida absolutely destroyed them. 34-7. And in fact, we're down 7-0. And in the second, third, and fourth quarters of the ballgame, outscored them 34-0. Like a 34-0 run. Running over them. Nobody could tackle South Florida's quarterback. It was a physical mismatch. If they played that game 10 times in 10 different locations, or in Boise, South Florida's winning all 10 of them. Yet, preseason, based on last year, Boise's ranked 25th, right? South Florida's unranked. See how stupid that is? So, example A, on that issue, the preseason ranking issue, it happened for us last night. And then other results in college football, you had Rutgers with a 3-point win over Ohio. High scoring. But the Big Ten team, Rutgers, slips out of there with a win. Bowling Green over Lafayette. So Eddie George, his first game as their head coach, he gets a win. NC State and the ACC got a win 24-17 over East Carolina. They were actually up 17-7 at half, kind of in control, but, relatively close game. Big, long weather delay last night in Orlando, but UCF came out after the weather delay. They played the second half and beat Jacksonville State 17-10. It was nothing at halftime, and a long weather delay after that. What else? Anything else? Yeah, Missouri. So Missouri beat up on Central Arkansas 61-6. You might have seen the story by now that Missouri's starting quarterback, his last name is Horn. He first play of the game went down with an injury. Later they saw him with a leg cast on, so that does not look good for him. But is it Pribula? Is that Pribula? How do you say the last name of the other kid? I don't know. But anyway, he was really good. 23 of 28 passing, 283, 2 touchdowns. Missouri 61-6 win at home. Kind of slow start, 9-0 after the first quarter. That happens a lot early season. And once they got their legs under them, it was no contest. Minnesota beat Buffalo. UAB and Alabama State scored a combined 94 points, 52-42. Nebraska beat Cincinnati. That was at Arrowhead Field. Had a great crowd for that one. And it is weird. You have to admit, it is weird how much the Nebraska quarterback mimics Patrick Mahomes with his haircut, the way he dresses, the way he plays, even right down to other mannerisms. He's like, I don't know, it's just weird. And then Wisconsin out of the Big Ten, they pitched a shutout last night at home. Their season opener, 17-0 over Miami of Ohio. And those are your results. Now, you have a bunch of Friday games around college football tonight. We'll look at the schedule later. But, yeah, we'll have games to watch tonight. I actually probably won't myself because I'll either be in the car or at a high school football game. I think I have decided to call an audible on the high school game that I'll attend. I was going to go all the way down, on the way to Hattiesburg and get nearly all the way there and go to West Jones and Laurel. But I think I've called an audible. I'm going to go to Brandon. And I don't know exactly when I'll get there. I don't know if I'll get there at the start of it, but I want to see at least a good portion of Brandon versus Tupelo. I just would like to see it. And it's kind of sort of on the way to Hattiesburg. I can do what I want. So I may swing through there and see some of that one and then make a decision from there. I may go up to the press box and bang on the window and see if I can disturb Jake while he's broadcasting the game. You think he'll go for that? We'll see. Yeah, so again, persistent questions coming out of last night. What did you think of Missouri? By the way, Alcorn State and Northwestern State in the FCS. Northwestern State beat them. I think it was about a 10-point ball game. It was a really good competitive game. The thing about it is, though, it's weird. You had Northwestern State storm the field. 20-10 was the final. And at times I watched it, and Alcorn State really capable. They were very competitive in the game. It's just they got down early, gave up 13 first quarter points and couldn't really climb back up. Alcorn State was really competitive with them, but Northwestern State, that was the first game they've won since 2022. Yeah, it had been that long. They hadn't won a game since 22. So when they won it last night, they actually stormed the field when it was over. They sure did. It was kind of odd to see that first week. In that particular game, I was wondering what was going on. But that would be your answer. All right, on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona says, I never thought Boise was that good last year. They got way too much credit for that first game with Oregon being close. Otherwise, they struggled quite a few times with Butt Crack State in the Buttercup Conference out there, or the better known as the Mountain West. So I didn't watch Boise much last year, Jason. I just know that, whatever their record was, and they had a lot of guys returning. I think that's one thing about Boise is, unlike so many other teams in the country, they did bring a bunch of transfers into Boise, but they just had starters returning on both sides of the ball, like significant starters on both sides of the ball. And so off a team that had a pretty good record, everybody thought, well, they're definitely going to be, pretty good this year. So you rank them 25th. And again, think about it. Think about it, Jason, being in this era of football where any team that wants to completely flip its roster from one year to the next can. Any team can pick half of its roster, a third, a fourth, whatever, one position, two positions, and flip it in 1 year's time. Everybody's got players transferring. Everybody's got bringing transfers in. And to come into a season and go, here's the preseason rankings. Here's how we rank the 25 best teams coming into the year. Based on what? Last year. Nobody's got the team they had last year. Nobody. And so, I mean, look, I guess it's an annual thing. I did it about this time last year. This rant probably won't be nearly as long and drawn out because I've done it before and everybody agrees. But like can't come up with a reason that you ought to pay attention to. Like, was it? It's nothing. It means nothing. But there you go. All right, over to the live stream on YouTube, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, all of that. Sven says here on YouTube regarding college football, he said, Missouri won big, but the O-line looked bad. See, and it's like somebody said yesterday that these types of games, like Missouri versus Central Arkansas, you really can't tell that much. It was odd seeing Kevin Coleman, last year's star receiver for State, play for Missouri. He had a good return in the game. I think he was the third leading receiver for them. They got some other guys they're spreading the ball around to, though. But you can't learn much from a game like that. Joey said, Hail State, all caps. Gene on Facebook says, Happy Maroon Friday, all caps. Back to Sven on YouTube. He says Mississippi State is going to win this game 55-20. Later today, he's got Baylor beating Auburn 34-17. He says Ohio State's going to take care of Texas 31-21. And he says LSU is going to continue their week one losing streak. They're going to lose 30-24 to Clemson. Yeah, how many years in a row? What is it, 5, something like that? Or is it more? Anyway, they're on a 0 for whatever streak in season openers recently here at LSU, which is hard to fathom. But they have a hard time coming out of the gates, especially under Brian Kelly. Regarding the Texas-Ohio State thing, I thought I'd share this with you, Sven. Here's a story. This is for people who understand gambling. The point spread for tomorrow's Texas-Ohio State game has been on the move all week, and now the Longhorns have become a favorite as of this morning. The Buckeyes opened as a 3-point favorite months ago, but sportsbooks have been reporting a steady stream of money on the Longhorns throughout the summer, causing the line to move toward Texas. The consensus line was a pick'em as of today at 11 a.m. here, according to the acronym and DraftKings. Now Texas is a 1.5-point favorite. So there you go. Whatever that's worth. Regarding Boise State, they came into the year ranked 25th. They got destroyed last night. They didn't get just beat. They had points total. They didn't give up 60. Okay, but it was a good old-fashioned woodshed moment. I'm talking about the quarterback for South Florida was a bull in a china shop. Boise couldn't tackle that kid. Jason said Wyoming and UNLV had them beat last year, but some late heroics from that first-round running back they had. What is it? Genty, who's now with the Raiders, pulled him out of the fire. Andre from Jackson texts the show, says Clemson should be number one. 80% of their roster is back. He says LSU versus Clemson, a rematch from the championship. Andre from Jackson. So says Clemson should be number one, got everybody back. They have, we'll see how it looks and works for them. They have taken a different approach to all this pay for play and portal stuff than other schools, than a lot of other schools. David comments on Facebook out of the chutes. He said, Hail State from Destin, Florida. What's your prediction for tomorrow's game? You know, I predict State to win, but I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be a good contest. And if it's a blowout in favor of State, I'll be tickled. If it's a blowout for the other guys, I'll be shocked and dismayed and whatever. I'll be over it about the time I hit 59 going home. Sven says, Matt, LSU should thank Clemson for that. If they play him, the kid who should be suspended, says the NCAA or what is left of them will delete the result, give Clemson an automatic win. You had to forfeit the thing, play an ineligible player. So, yeah, I mean, that is one way to look at it. If they tattled on you, maybe they did you a favor so you avoid the controversy down the road. And it is just the first half of the game. It's just, I think, Sven, LSU should have been ready for that. You know, as many staff members as you have and as detail-oriented as you're supposed to be at that kind of program, you got to know that. It can't be a surprise to you. It's like, what are you doing? All right, just getting started with y'all on this Football Friday. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless. Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee?
I know you do.
Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true. Magnolia blend.
With Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I had a first last night. For the first time in my life, I attended a high school cross-country competition, an event. First time I've ever been to one, seen one. I'd only heard about it. This was a massive event. There, I couldn't believe all the people and the schools represented. And I mean, we went because it was at Mary Liddy's school, Tupelo Christian, and they had her singing the national anthem just before the first race took off. But I mean, just to see it, and then the first race goes, and it was really exciting when they turn and they start coming down the home stretch, and I can see who's in first. I was into it. So that was a first. What else was? Oh, I'll tell you another first for me. I watched Houston Christian University play football. First time I've ever watched it. And the reason is they are the Huskies. It's because they were playing Tupelo native. I know him and know his family. I've known him for a while. Jake Ware at quarterback. He was their quarterback. They won big. They scored like 60-something points before it was over with. Beat Arkansas Baptist. You talk about a team that looked like they hadn't practiced a whole lot. Arkansas Baptist, they didn't look too great. But, yeah, Jake played well, and they put it on him. Mostly running the ball, though. Mostly running. All right, get your texts in. Coming to them shortly. Your comments. Got the phone line open. If you'll call me on the junction phone today, we can talk football. Whatever you want to get into is cool with me. 897-1059, the number to call. 601-897-1059. You'll get to talk to Beav, and then if you want, you get to talk to me. Speaking of, I'd really like to know if Beaver got to watch any football last night. Beav, did you get to watch any pigskin pad popping on television last night?
Yeah, so I ended up on about 10 minutes or so of the Nebraska-Cincinnati game.
Okay. What'd you
think? But
it
just so happens in that 10 minutes, we really, really heavily focused on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce in the box. And then we went back to game action, but the announcers just had to keep referencing them and work in lame references to Taylor Swift because, they think that's clever. I found it interesting. I only watched 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, that's what I got.
Uh-huh. Oh, Beav. Like, I know that was one of the last games to kick off last night. Here's my observation of it. Beav, it was late, like past my bedtime, I was having a hard time keeping my eyes open, and that game was just kind of starting. Okay, so I pulled my computer out here and I watched a little bit of it on there. And the first observation was they show a pan overhead of Arrowhead, and I thought, man, that place is nearly full. That was great. It was a great crowd. Mostly Nebraska fans, looked like to me, which is really close to Kansas City. But, and then right away they cut to Swift and Kelsey up there, and I'm doing the eye roll thing going, really? This is a college game, and now I'm going to have to see this in this college game? I mean, it's starting to get to me, Beav. I was one of the last ones who it really started to get to watching the Chiefs. I could pretty much block it out, but it's starting to get a little bit of overkill. But, okay, I mentioned this earlier. Beaver, did you notice how the quarterback for Nebraska mimics everything that Patrick Mahomes does, including looks like him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I'm not trying to pick on the kid. I really I wish everybody would give him a lot of grace because, the 19, 20, there's a lot of 19, 20-year-olds still out there trying to figure out themselves, find themselves, figure it all out. They do weird stuff. But it's weird, isn't it?
It's very weird. And, it'd be okay if that kid himself hadn't referenced it just the other day and said, I can't help that God made me similar to Patrick Mahomes. And anyway, he was trying to act like, he was almost trying to sidestep it and act like he doesn't mimic
I see. Well,
everything. But
everything.
He does. He absolutely does. To his pregame attire, to his sunglasses, to the chain that he wears. Look, if you're going to do it, fine, but don't try to come out, you child, and tell us that it's not a thing when we can see it's a thing.
Yeah, right, Beaver. I had not been watching the game that long on my computer just before I dozed off, went to sleep, and he did the thing where between plays, he started wiggling his hand like Patrick Mahomes does. He holds his hand up and he's like, give me the next play because you got a guy talking in your ear, And he did that. And, it was exactly what Patrick Mahomes does. And that was a little too much. I thought, I don't know. Again, it's a young person. Give him plenty of room. You certainly I wouldn't want to be a part of picking on him, making him feel like dirt about it. But maybe if I were a close friend or somebody, I might even say, hey, I think, we like you. Okay. You can cut all that out. Really. I don't think you want to take that too far, and maybe he's a great kid and he seems like a really good player. I just think the lengths that he's gone to sort of emulate Mahomes is a little, what's a word I could use to describe it, Beaver, that doesn't have such a strong negative connotation as weird or goofy? Peculiar. How about that? It's a little peculiar. It's the best I can come up with. Okay, last thing, Beav. Well, not last thing, but another thing. Will you be interested to watch Auburn and Baylor today, or do you have to work and you don't get the chance?
Yeah, I'll be work.
Okay.
I'll be at work tonight. So, as a matter of fact, I looked at that because as I left the house today, I was on FS1, and they were showing Baylor, Auburn tonight, and I looked at that and said, oh, okay, I won't get to see that. So here we are, fast forward a few hours later, and you bring this up. Yeah, I'll miss that. I'd kind of like to see it, at least a little bit of it.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm just excited about Auburn or Baylor, but, I'd kind of like to see what this Auburn team looks like because I have so little faith in them or their coach or their quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You realize that I'm looking at the acronym right here. They say Auburn is a favorite in this game. That's kind of surprising to me. Hey, but Beaver, you would, if you were not working and you could watch football at 7 p.m. Central Time, you would be in a real bind here because your favorite coach is also coaching and playing at 7 p.m. When Georgia Tech visits Colorado.
Coach, that's tonight.
Tonight at 7.
I forgot that was tonight.
Coach Prime. He's not even doing the Coach Prime thing out at Colorado, is he? He's Deion Sanders. I guess that was just...
No, he loves that branding.
Well, but it was at Jackson State where he demanded it. Like, you get out of here if you don't call me Coach Prime. But I don't think he's doing that out there. Remember that, Beef? Didn't he tell a reporter either to shut up or to get out or something for saying Coach Sanders, I think?
Yeah, there was something like that. I can't remember exactly what the reporter said, but he didn't address him properly as Coach Prime.
Didn't address him properly. My goodness. All right. Hey, and Beav, if you bump into Bill today, today is his wife's birthday. And so, you know, pass along for Bill to tell her happy birthday from us here on the show. Oh, hey, Beav, one more thing. I want you to simmer on this, but there is a strong, strong chance that one day next week I'm going to have to be out. I get to be a part of filming a TV show for Mississippi Outdoors, so I'm looking forward to that. Going to a dove hunt. But it's not to be out one day. And there's a really, really, really strong chance that we're going to have a fill-in host on the radio show. And it's a really strong chance, Beav, that it's going to be your old radio partner. None other than the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Brooks. So just simmer on that. We'll talk about that later. All right. Rolling along with you here today on this Friday. And when we come back, I have something I want you to hear. On today, the anniversary, the 20th anniversary of one of, if not the most catastrophic events we've ever experienced here in the state of Mississippi. Got something I want you to hear coming up. Back after this.
This is Jake Mang, former Mississippi State Bulldog.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country-pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer-related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash, and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away.
59.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Today, August the 29th, is the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina hitting us. They're on the coast and all the way up into the southern part of the state, and just to any adjective you could possibly think of, that to describe a catastrophic event has been used over and over again. And in most cases, it's really not enough. The words don't quite enough to describe it. You had to have seen it, maybe lived through it. And, then the thing about that is people who did live through it would love to be able to forget it, because it was such a traumatic event, as we know. So here we are on the 20th anniversary of that. Well, C Spire, one of the partner supporters of this show and many, many, many other sports channels and outlets and teams and leagues and stuff around the state of Mississippi, they support it. And yesterday I saw where they came out with a video that it's about 8 minutes or so that chronicles through the people that lived through it what it was like for them. They weren't trying to tell somebody else's story. It's C Spire telling their own story of what it was like for them. I'm going to let you hear the audio of this short documentary video that they made. You will hear voices of homeowners, media members, people who were working it, people at different levels of administration in C Spire, what it was like 20 years ago. You'll hear all those voices. You won't be able to see it, but I want you to hear the audio from this C Spire video. They titled it 8/29/05. We remembering Hurricane Katrina.
We are ground zero. We were hit the hardest.
For what was coming for Hurricane Katrina, I had no idea.
I just called to say, hey, we're alive. We're alive.
When and if it does become a tropical storm, the name will be Katrina.
Watching what's going to be happening with Katrina, the prognosis not so good for us now.
It was beautiful weather here, and we just thought, oh, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. We all kind of thought, well, nothing happened with the other two storms, so really, is this going to really hit us?
It kept shifting. At the last minute is when I think the actual landfall was more Mississippi than we thought.
And if this storm stays on this track with the forecasted intensity, let's just say it's not going to be good.
I urge all citizens to put their own safety and the safety of their families first by moving to safe ground.
We've never left for a hurricane. And I've been here on the coast since 1980. So this is home. This is home to me. My husband opened the first taco sombrero on Pass Road in Gulfport. Having worked for the city and then owning a business, we just always stayed.
I grew up in Bay St. Louis, and I left here and I came back here to raise my twin daughters. I wanted them to have what I had, to feel the love of their grandparents and to grow up with their cousins, and I was able to achieve that goal. And then Katrina hit. Our original house was built in 1926 by my husband's grandfather. We moved in 87 and raised our family here and loved it, loved being on the beach, loved the water.
I covered hurricanes before I became a reporter as a photographer editor. You took time to really try to get the best information out to the public to save lives.
Our measure had always been Hurricane Camille in '69. Nothing could be worse than Hurricane Camille. So we based every decision and every amount of preparation a lot on what we learned from Camille. But again, that's '69, and here we are in 2005, and we've got this growing monster out there.
If it survived Camille, I thought certainly it would survive Katrina because Katrina didn't seem as bad as Camille, but it was. That morning, my husband woke up and he said, we got to get out of here, and went to the capital city to ride out the storm, never thinking that after the storm was over, that my family home would be completely washed away.
We ordered windows, got our generators ready, got waters, extra food, just prepared for, what yet was coming since we were staying. You had the rainfall, you had gusts, and then we'd come inside, watch a little news, see what was expected, what was coming, and just wait.
And I'm there reporting, and this huge arc of electricity is right behind me. With the now it's picked up even more, and all of a sudden, boom, another explosion, and everything goes black. And they're looking for the next 12 hours, they're trying to see if we're all right.
I'm not going to stay here much longer, folks, because in fact, we need to back up now, Greg.
We were 70 miles inland, and winds were over 100 miles an hour constant.
When we topped the levee from the north side coming towards the beach, it was utter devastation. You hear helicopters, you hear chainsaws, you hear gas lines, and people trying to find their loved ones.
That's the oak tree, how we recognized our home, because when we walked down the beach, there were no landmarks. It was hard to tell what was what.
We had trees over our way out, so we had to stay at the end on the hill for a day or so. So we were trapped there. My wife and 2 kids, they were hunkered down near William Carey. I was able to get a call to them telling them I would be home for a night or two.
I grabbed my phone and I ran outside, and because you couldn't get service. But I ran out to the garage and opened up the garage door, and I just started dialing, and I called my sister. And it was relief. A big sigh of relief that, I could make a phone call. And through the tears, I just said, I don't have but a second. We're okay. We're alive.
We were the only service work. We prepared like it was going to be the worst storm we've ever seen, and it actually was.
We universally never lost service in some of the hardest hit areas. We assembled close to 20 tile crews. Their mission was, as soon as the storm passed, go in and get those generators up and operational. By that weekend, we had almost 100% of that network down the Mississippi Gulf Coast restored.
We had gotten to the point there was no fuel at all. We had to get very creative, putting 5 gallons of diesel in one location, putting 10 in another. I slept a few nights in cell sites, mainly because I was too far away to drive and I was exhausted.
They were outpacing any directive that I could provide. And as a leader, that's really what you want to see.
Overnight, we went from the normal course of business of operating a wireless company to being a command center to care for our customers and our team and our community.
All of our efforts were really to enable not only customers but first responders to be able to do their jobs. And we ended up giving out thousands of phones.
I walk into the fire department there in Biloxi and say, hey guys, do y'all need phones? They go, what do you mean? I said, that's what I mean. Do y'all need phones to talk? He goes, well, nothing's working. I said, we are, Cellular South is working. They go, you're kidding. I literally had people getting out of the vehicle, hey man, are you a Cellular South? And I go, yeah. I said, he goes, man, your phone saved my life.
Well, the heroes are the ones that went down there on the days afterwards and just kept feeding people and kept handing out phones.
As a volunteer, being able to set up those tents and with the charging station and seeing the smiles on people's faces was touching.
We have a long history going back to Franklin Telephone Company, Delta Telephone Company, to make the communities better in which we serve. And so we knew that this was our time. We were going to have to do this. One of the things that we said during that time is spare no effort.
Our culture.
All right, and that's just a little bit of the piece that C Spire has put out there. I really encourage you, if you have time here today, on a work break or even after work before you start watching football, here on the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina arriving here and doing what it did 20 years ago, go check that out. Again, tip my cap to C Spire. They are, and they probably would tell you, they are one example of what, a lot of what was going on with other companies and other organizations who just immediately hit the ground running and go down there, as far as they can go and start looking for some way to help. C Spire being in that unique position in that, they're trying to find a way to provide communication, and the way that they were able to, as you heard them say, get towers back up and going on the coast by that weekend, and then giving out, as many phones as they could give out to people, and then charging stations, and people were showing up and using the phones to try to track down loved ones and report to other loved ones, hey, I'm here, I'm okay, I made it. I know you've been worried. Excuse me. It's really, really a fascinating thing. And I tip my cap to C Spire because, sometimes you look back at an event like that, the tendency is to want to tell the whole story, tell everybody's story. In that video, they're really kind of telling you the story from their perspective, and it's very well done. And so if we're going to remember, things like that can help us. So go watch it. If you have a chance, you can go to cspire.com. It's out there on social media, and C Spire has a good YouTube channel. It's the latest video posted there, remembering Hurricane Katrina. All right, that'll wrap up hour one. Hour two coming up in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last but not least, oh, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Whee! Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
County. Visit Zip Outdoors in Gluckstadt during Second Amendment weekend.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog. I know a thing or two about the value of a strong team. Farm Bureau works hard to get me through thick and thin. They've got exceptional customer service and competitive insurance rates that keep me protected. If you aren't already on the team, it's time to join Farm Bureau. Visit favrates.com for great rates on home and auto insurance, or find a local agent at msfbins.com. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
We are good to go.
With more of the Matt Wyatt Show. Coming to you direct and live at the Zone 105.9 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
At the Zone 105.9.com.
Yes, sir. That's right. Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau insurance agents. Will says, happy Friday, Matt. We made it. You made it to Friday.
Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend.
He said college football season all the way back. Yeah, I mean, it really is, huh? How many? We're about to go, including last night, what, about a week straight with games on TV? So get on in here. You can be like Will and everybody on the live stream. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, type in a comment. It shows up. Put it on the screen. Yeah.
It's Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for
Let's see. Legba says, Hail State, Matt. Hail State all. Attaboy, Legba. Will said, do you have a pick for Baylor and Auburn tonight? I'm going to go with Baylor at home and Sawyer Robertson to start the year 1-0. That's what I'm going to go with. But we shall see. We shall see. I imagine I'll be on the road driving. I think I've changed my plans. I was going to go down to Jones County and watch one of those games down there on the way to Hattiesburg, but I think I'm going to actually detour and maybe slip through Brandon, go, eyeball a little bit of Brandon and Tupelo tonight. Big time game. I got some friends from Tupelo that'll be there in the visiting section, so I may go sit with them for a minute, and then I'm going to sneak up on the press box when Jake's not looking, and I'm going to reach up and slap the glass right in front of him. Boom! See if I can't distract him on the radio. So y'all listen for that, right? But I want to see some of that, and then I'll drive on down to the team hotel from there. Yeah. So I guess I'd have to listen to some of that Baylor and Auburn deal on the radio. Auburn's got a good radio crew. I don't know if y'all realize this, but, for years and years, Stan White, the quarterback at Auburn in the late 80s, early 90s, was the color analyst on the Auburn radio broadcast. He was for many years. But just a couple of years ago, he stepped away from that. And I think it was because I think he was going to help coach one of the private schools in his area, just going to get into that. And, and so now Jason Campbell is the color analyst on the Auburn radio broadcast now. Yeah, former Auburn quarterback, former NFL quarterback from Taylorsville, Mississippi. Great guy, great family. Got to play at State with his older brother, Larry. Really good football player, too. Just they're really good folks. I'm proud for him. So if you listen to Auburn on the radio, you got a little Mississippi flavor in there, which is not too bad. Let's see, Will. Yeah, even good games on Sunday. Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Miami, and Notre Dame. Two good ones. Two really good ones. Yeah. All right, so let's just do it. I didn't do this in hour one. Let's do it. Here we go. Ready? Okay, let's start with the important ones. Well, but to say that the top 25 are the important ones is really because the top 25 is a joke. I don't know. They put Boise State in there at 25, and they got embarrassed last night by a quote-unquote unranked team. They don't know. Let's see. So let me just see what jumps out. These are games tonight. We already know Baylor hosting Auburn. I think that's 7 p.m. You also have at 7 p.m. tonight, Colorado. Coach Prime in Colorado. hosting Georgia Tech. All right, here we go. Games tonight that you might want to take a look at. I think that's it. Okay, I'll give them all to you. These are the FBS games tonight. Army is hosting Tarleton State. Michigan State hosting Western Michigan. Wake Forest is hosting Kennesaw State. Charlotte is hosting App State. Now we're talking. So I wonder if he'll get to play. You know, they have an older, more veteran quarterback at App State, but I think the freshman out of Tupelo, Noah Gillum, might have earned the backup job, I think. And so it might be a chance he gets in there. I would love to see that. He's at App State. Let's see. Florida International hosting Bethune-Cookman. Illinois hosting Western Illinois. Kansas hosting Wagner. Also tonight. See, Kansas is playing their second game of the year. They're already 1-0. So they got a huge advantage over Wagner. The aforementioned Auburn at Baylor, Georgia Tech at Colorado. Those are both 7 p.m. The Auburn-Baylor deal is on Fox. Georgia Tech, Colorado is on the mushy-headed acronym channel. Sam Houston hosting UNLV tonight. So the Fighting Dan Mullins will be on the road in Houston, Texas. And wait a minute. So are they playing that at where the Texans play? It's called Shell Energy Stadium. Is that the Texans Stadium or is that a different one? All right, it's a different one. Shell Energy Stadium it's on campus at Sam Houston. Okay. And then late tonight on FS1, you get Central Michigan, San Jose State. All right, let's do this. Today is Friday. And so if there ever was a time to go over the Saturday schedule, how about instead of the whole thing? Because doing the whole one, that would be tough. Let's just do the SEC. Let's just do the SEC. I tell you what, and instead of the acronym song, the old classic acronym song, we'll do SEC on CBS. How's that make you feel? All right, so in this order, tomorrow in the SEC, you get 11 a.m. on the acronym State at Southern Miss. 11 a.m. Fox, Texas, Ohio State. 11 a.m. ABC, Syracuse at Tennessee. 11:45 a.m. tomorrow, SEC Network, Kentucky hosting Toledo. Better watch out for those Rockets. Telling you from experience. They can be pretty physical. All right, and then you go 2:30 on the acronym. It's Georgia hosting Marshall. Marshall's new everywhere they look because their whole team went to Hattiesburg. A bunch of it did. And then 2:30 ABC, which we have that, don't we? Hang on. Don't I have the new, because they came out with a new thing when they moved off CBS and went to ABC. Came out with a new thing. SEC on ABC. Here it is. This is what it is. Yeah. So 2:30 tomorrow on ABC is the Alabama and Florida State game. It's in Tallahassee at Doak Campbell Stadium. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool matchup week one. Bama without their captain on the defensive line. They're without their running back. Shouldn't matter. 3:15 SEC Network. Arkansas hosting Alabama A&M. 5 o'clock on the Plus, it's Oklahoma hosting Illinois State. 6 p.m. on the Plus, it'll be Chomp Chomp, the Florida Gators hosting Long Island University. 6 on the acronym, A&M hosting UTSA. 6 on the Plus, Vandy hosting Charleston Southern. LSU Clemson tomorrow night on ABC, 6:30, and then tomorrow night, 6:45. It's the last SEC game to kick tomorrow night. Ole Miss hosting Georgia State on the network. And then, as you mentioned, Sunday we get South Carolina, Virginia Tech in the SEC. Not bad, huh? Then, what do we get Sunday? You also get Notre Dame at Miami Sunday on ABC, 6:30 p.m. That'll be Sunday night. Anything else of interest on Sunday? It seemed like somebody mentioned one other game that's happening on Sunday. No, I guess that's it. As far as FBS goes, that's it. And then Monday night, Bill Belichick makes his debut as a college coach. Acronym TV, Monday night, 7 p.m., TCU at North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And North Carolina announced they're going to have South Alabama's QB as their starter. Will didn't like it. Okay, Will did not like this, the old ABC deal. He didn't like it. Yeah, but the oldie but the goodie. I mean, look, Will, we just have to be honest. This is really ingrained with us. When you hear that in your head, you can hear Uncle Vern Lundquist, probably talking about Tebow, or he's introing Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton. Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's better. The old CBS thing's better, isn't it? I'm with you, Will. It is better. So it's a heck of a lineup of games. What else do we have here on the live stream? Sven, how about this? He's given us a baseball Jake Mangum update. Over the last 7 games for the Rays, he's had 11 hits and 28 at-bats. That's .393. Tampa Bay struggles. They got a losing record now. Next series, they're going against Washington. Washington got rid of former Diamond Dog Nathaniel Lowe. The Red Sox picked him up, and he's killing it for the Red Sox right now. Like he's a walking extra base hit lately for the Red Sox. Regarding high school football tonight, oh, yeah, that's true. Caleb says we could get wet tonight. Hope you're ready. Caleb, I'm always ready for the rain. I don't have to worry about anything. Not going to mess my hair up. Now, the rest of y'all got problems if it rains. Not me. Tanner comments on Facebook. He says, Hail State with 3 exclamation points. Can't wait to whoop. Is it whoop or whoop? Them mustard buzzards tomorrow. And he was nice about it, y'all, because he capitalized mustard buzzards. Say that 5 times fast. Capitalize it. Will didn't like that new SEC on ABC song. He said it sounds like a nightly news intro. It needs more electric guitar and a better beat. Now, Caleb said, I was just about to say the same thing. It sounds like Ron Burgundy's about to tell us what's going on in San Diego. Really? Hold on, I got to listen to it again. So here it is, the SEC on ABC, but Caleb says it hints of Ron Burgundy about to tell us what's happening in San Diego on the news. See if you hear it too. Yeah, I hear it now. Yeah, I hear it now. Stay classy, San Diego. Okay, now I hear it. I hear it now. All right, over to the text line, the Country Pleasing text line. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. Regarding Hurricane Katrina, for those who don't know, today is the 20th anniversary of landfall for Hurricane Katrina. Jason in Flagstaff says, were you in Tupelo yet? Yeah, I was. I was living in Tupelo, working at the TV station up there. He said, Katrina was still a tropical storm with 50-mile-per-hour winds carrying a warning to such when it went over my house in Tishomingo County, 350 miles inland. Well, and you heard what one of those people who was interviewed in that C Spire piece that I played the audio for you earlier, you heard him say 70 miles inland, you had sustained 100 mile per hour winds, like constant 100 mile per hour winds. That was 70 miles. And you get all the way hundreds of miles up to where we were in North Mississippi, same thing. Not 100, but still 50. He says on top of the coast, it left a track of damage all the way up the eastern side of the state. Local folks, C Spire included, kept that situation from being worse than it already was. He said, heroes all, as far as I'm concerned. Man, I mean, look, and you just, in that short 10-minute piece that C Spire, and I played you the audio of it, but it was multiple people who were, a part of their team at C Spire who were on the ground going to get towers back up, get phones out, get service going, running generators at tower sites, having to find gas and, ration it out and pour it in there. People sleeping at the tower sites to keep the generators going, to keep service going, all kinds of stuff. And that was just a few, examples of the many, many, many people who were doing that kind of thing. There were several quotes in there that really stood out to me in that piece about Katrina 20 years ago in that C Spire video. One was from 𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 who founded C Spire. He said, regarding the team of people working, he said they outpaced any directive that I could give them. Okay, so yeah, in any leadership capacity, right? What you really are hoping for is a team of people who are frankly ahead of you. Like as a leader, you can give directives, but they've already done that. Well, what about, yep, we got that too. And then he said, one of the things we kept saying was spare no effort. Now think about that. Spare no effort. I mean, that's it sounds like something a football coach would say. Spare no effort. And then, one of the other quotes that I saw that stood out to me right at the end of the video, and I don't think we actually got to that part, but someone said, we saw the worst of Mother Nature and the best of humanity. And it was all in one swoop there in the response. You really should go see that video that C Spire has put out. All right, here we go. Well, on that note, let's see. The Tennessee man texted in and said, I remember driving from Picayune to Laurel to get gas, and the wait was 2 hours. Can you imagine? Driving Picayune to Laurel to get gas, have to sit there and wait 2 hours when you got there. And probably happy to sit and wait, just hoping that you get some. That's really incredible. Back to football. Andre from Jackson says, Dan Mullen back to MSU 2026. Southern Miss 34, MSU 21. How about that? So, Andre, what do you think?
Matt Wyatt?
What?
Hold on, because here's my problem. Just yesterday at 12:57 exactly, so 24 hours and 21 minutes ago, Andre said, MSU 46, USM 14. Now, things have gotten all kinds of worse for Mississippi State.
I mean,
24 hours, Andre is completely flipped.
Beaver, what did Andre learn last night? What information has Andre come across? Something happened last night, and Andre is privy to it. Because as Beaver has pointed out, this time yesterday, his prediction was Mississippi State 46, Southern Miss 14. And that was State going on a 46-0 run. Today, his prediction is Southern Miss is going to win 34-21. They're going to fire Levy, and Dan Mullen will come back to Mississippi State in 2026. What happened last night, Andre? Unnamed texter says, Matt, this year Sam Houston is playing all the home games at the Houston Dynamo's Stadium while their campus stadium is being renovated. Oh, okay, so that's what that is. That's where, so that, what is it? Shell whatever stadium. That's what that is where the Dynamos play. Okay. Delta Tide fans said, and Katrina was a Category 1 hurricane when it came through my hometown of Yazoo City. Now, think about that. Think about that for a minute. It's a Category 1 hurricane by the time it's still, when it gets to Yazoo City. That's incredible. State Grad 98. Did Jake Ware play last night or does he play tonight? And if he played last night, how did he do? Yeah, he played last night. He Houston Christian University, the Huskies, they played Arkansas Baptist, okay, and mopped the floor with them. Hang on. Let me give you the final. It was like 60-something to a little. Hang on. They really stretched it out. I just got to look it up because I can't remember the exact score. Here we go. Thursday night, FCS. Here we go. 69-0. Houston Christian, 69-0. And Jake was 10 of 16 for 184 and a touchdown. And the touchdown pass that he threw, State Grad, looked to me like he checked it at the line of scrimmage. They were basically on the goal line, and they were running the ball at will pretty much, and so they really didn't have to throw the ball that much. But I think they got zero coverage. Everybody toes on the line. It was just man up on two outside receivers, so he checked to a go ball or fade, throws it to the back corner to the right. The kid made a nice catch, and so that was his touchdown catch. Or touchdown throw. But hey, yeah, so it was slow first half. Jake and Houston Christian were up 20-0 at half. But then obviously you look at the score. They scored 49 points in the second half and ran away with it. Arkansas Baptist was just not, I mean, they didn't. They kind of like a bunch of barely been put together.
Minutes after curfew.
Oh, we're late. Back after this.
That moment when every parent starts to worry.
And I'm sure she's fine.
It's what inspired us to make C-Spire's nationwide 5G network so fast and reliable.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling since.
And tell him what you think right now on the Zone 1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team. Sven says on YouTube, Mullen was a very good head coach at State, but he left us for money. I don't want him back here. Period. End of story. And that's Sven. Once is enough, huh, Sven? Once is enough. Speaking of Mullen and UNLV, as I pour some more coffee, I got a little hot coffee left in this thermos. I'm rationing it out just right for the end of the show. Hot coffee from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. Go to highpointroasters.com. Get your coffee there. Big 1-pound bags of it. You're not going to run out anytime soon. It's some of the best, what would you call it? Original origin or single origin and blends that they've developed. It's really good stuff. This is Magnolia Blend. It has like an emblem on the front of the bag similar to the Mississippi State flag. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Elizabeth says, how's this for a small world? UNLV quarterback Alex 𝐷𝐬𝐬𝐢 for Coach Mullen is the former quarterback for Forest here in the Dallas area at Sash High School. Pronounced what? Saxy? Okay. Went to Michigan last year for a game to watch him versus Oregon. He's a wonderful young man, and we hope to get to watch a game this season too. Hey, and listen, Elizabeth, you might, if you didn't hear it, you might be interested to go and see Dan Mullen's comments after that ball game the other day, where they kind of struggled. It looked like they struggled to a win. They put up some points or whatever, but he was really complimentary of both of their quarterbacks that they're playing, including Alex 𝐷𝐬𝐬𝐢, who he complimented athletic ability, arm strength, and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if it was a different era or if he's changed, but it was odd because, you used to never hear Dan Mullen just gush about his quarterbacks like that. But he was certainly doing it, in the postgame with that particular kid and the others. Let's see. Craig on YouTube said, if Jeff Lebby loses 9 games this year, there probably will be a coaching change. And then here we go. Craig says, would John Gruden be interested in State in 2026? He has expressed interest in coaching in the SEC. Well, I don't know. It might not. I don't know, Craig. But I appreciate you listening. I really do. Here we are on the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Nick says he was working at St. Dominic's at the time and left the hospital right before it got bad, and said it was one of like 3 cars on Lakeland Drive. Talk about a weird feeling. Yeah, I bet. Okay, regarding Andre flipping his prediction, Andre texted us yesterday and he said State's going to win 49-14. He texted us back today and said, nope, Southern Miss will win 34-21, and Mullen will be State's coach next year. And we're like, what happened to Andre last night? What information did he come across? And Patrick texted in and said someone in Hattiesburg gave Andre some NIL money. Okay. Or something like that happened. I don't know if that's exactly it, but man, something like that happened. I know. All right, let's flip it over to the phone. The Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company, fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. On line one, it's Winslow. What's up, Winslow?
Matt, it is kind of weird that anniversary being today, and I think back on a lot of it because I was personally involved in a lot of that. My job at the time was handling a media and customers, and so 2 days after the storm, they brought in like 2 RVs and a dozen or more of us, went down in those 2 RVs, and so left Jackson that afternoon, made a stop in Hattiesburg, and we pulled out about dark. And one of the things that I always remember is I never saw another light that night until we got to Gulfport.
Oh wow!
And we went out the next day, and my job was basically, me and another guy, we were taking pictures and shooting video, and it wasn't a war zone, but a disaster zone is. It's like something that you haven't seen before. Like you see those movies or Twilight Zone episodes, where New York has gotten nuked and there's like 2 people left, and it was just so weird to go into places like downtown Gulfport, 49 at 90, and there's virtually nobody there. And like hundreds of dead nutrias in parking lots that had washed up, and just really weird things, and you're riding along and you see this flatbed trailer of volunteers from Indiana or something, and then you look and all of a sudden you realize those are cadaver dogs that are riding on there with us, and it's just, it would go along Highway 49, we look out there, there's this line like 150 yards long, and I said, what is that? And somebody said, that's the only working ATM around here.
Oh, wow.
So people were trying to get money and stuff like that, and it was just such a weird situation. And fortunately, I didn't have to spend a lot of time down there because we got relieved, on the media part of it, and I came back to Jackson, and the customer part kicked in then because none of our offices had internet, and we were flooded with all kinds of things. And one of the things that we wound up having to do was, since we didn't have internet, we had to print everything out and send it down, by mail to them every day. And that went on for several months. But speaking of Cellular South or C Spire or whatever, I had a BlackBerry with me at the time, but I could never get any outgoing calls to work. And, each of the RVs, that they had a satellite phone in there that, we could use to communicate with Jackson and so on. And all of a sudden, like Thursday afternoon, my phone rings. And it's the first time that I realized that I actually had cell service. It had like about maybe 1 or 2 bars. And, so it was very sketchy. But it's just one of those things where, I think, like you said, people just rise to the occasion. Mm-hmm. And, you had people sleeping in offices, that the security had been compromised, and it was just something that, I remember a lot of it, but, it's not quite as bad as war, but it's one of those things where, you look back and you just say, well, we just did what we had to do,
Sure. Yeah. And what kind of business were you in back then, Winslow?
I worked for the post office.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that we went back in March to do like a follow-up video. And, it took months and years because, there were areas that were just totally uninhabited, and you get to the post office and there'd be this 50 yards long line of cluster boxes, and that was how people got their mail. They went up there and but literally, all of them were marked, and depending on where you lived, you had a certain section where you picked up your mail and everything.
Really?
One other thing, I realized I wasn't in Kansas anymore because the day before that we were coming back, we went out there, and it hit on the 29th, and so you had all of the first and third of the month checks coming in. And I remember going inside the Gulfport processing plant that had 2 inches of water on the floor, because we had to go and find like some of the checks that they had not been able to finish processing. And so we're all sitting in that RV with like a tray of checks on our lap. We're sorting mail there, to try to get it all ready. We go out there Friday, and it was like, the president was there, because there was like probably 8 or 10 guys with, automatic weapons and body armor standing there, standing on guard to make sure that, nothing, unseemly happened. But that's something that I've never seen before and probably will never see again.
Right. Well, and in terms of, the cause, we hope we never do see it again,
Well, I will tell you this, we had an annual drill that we did every year, right before hurricane season started. And you have those drills, and it's like a fire drill. You hope you never have to use it. But right. I remember that year somebody pointing out that they had gone the longest without a serious storm on the coast, in quite a while, maybe like 7 or 8 years or something like that. Mm. And somebody remarked, so the law of averages, could come true, and I'll be darned if it didn't.
Yeah, it did. Yep. How about that? And, like you say, Winslow, it's a little bit mind-boggling to go, it was 20 years ago, because I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's been that long. 20 years.
And I remember the 10th anniversary because, they made, something out of it, and there were ceremonies and all that stuff, and I was involved in that, but, I have no idea, if there's any kind of observation like ceasefire has done, because I'm just not involved in that anymore.
Yeah, gotcha. Hey, good to hear from you, Winslow. Hope you enjoy the games and stuff this weekend.
Yeah, we'll go head down there in the morning and try to get some breakfast before we head out there.
All right, safe travels.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep, thank you. Louvier texted in while I was talking to Winslow on the Country Pleasing text line. He said 20 years is not long enough for me to be able to talk about it seriously. And that's what I mean. I mean, for those who were boots on the ground and in the areas and stuff, it's just, depending on what you saw and what your role was, it's like, hard to look back on. But we're going to finish the week the right way. Put our nose in the Bible with Terry coming up next. Back after this.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. The original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Ogeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. We got that. What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more.
A menu full on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at the Zone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team. All right, with us here at the end of the show, at the end of the week, to wrap everything up the right way. On the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company, who's been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. Well, he hadn't been on this show since 1960, but he's been on here for a while. My friend Terry Fant, the pastor at Hickory Ridge Baptist Church in Florence, Mississippi, on your radio right now. Terry, welcome to the show. Happy Friday.
Man, welcome, Matt. Thanks for having me.
So there's this verse in Ephesians that says, it's in chapter 2 in Ephesians, and it says that you're saved by grace through faith is how you're saved. And it says not of yourselves. It's a gift from God. And then it says not of works. Okay, it says that's how you're saved. All right, but then there's this verse in James chapter 1, verse 22, that says, but be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. So it's like being saved, he does that. But at the same time, we're not supposed to just listen and hear it only, but we're supposed to be doers of the word. What does this mean?
First of all, let me say, I love what you did right there. You showed the fact that this is not a works-based salvation. Man, what a way to set that up.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing, though, at the same time, that we as believers, not in order to be saved, but because we are saved, then we need to be instructed by the Word in how our lives should look.
Okay.
Right? As
Right.
dear children imitating our Father, it instructs us on the way of living as we reflect His image.
Okay. In other words, yeah. In terms of how our lives are supposed to look as believers who have been saved by faith. Am I getting that in the right order? Basically, is kind of what
That's it, man. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So then you take it a step further, and it's just one short verse in James chapter 1, but this idea of, hey, listen, don't just hear this. When you hear that verse as it pertains to hearing or listening, and just kind of like, I don't know, sometimes I may go to a good worship service with great music and throw my hands up in the air and enjoy it. But that's not all, right? Like, where do we start with this conversation?
So I think, we mentioned a little earlier that in Ezekiel 33, we find a place in the history of God's people where they have gone to exile. And the reason is he has sent messengers to them called prophets over and over and over again, telling them, go this way, don't go that way.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's generalization, but he's given them specific instruction on which way to go. And the scripture says in Ezekiel 33 that they listened to the prophets Jeremiah and did so like he was a lovely song or someone who could play an instrument well. In other words, they listened to God's words and instruction through Jeremiah, and it was entertainment to them.
Ah.
And so, we think about now how it's amazing to me how many people today, it seems at least, Matt, that it's, man, they'll get so fired up about a message and they'll post it and repost it and it'll get a, million likes and what have you.
Mm.
But at the same time, when a little investigation in the life of the person sharing and posting, maybe there's not any application.
Yeah. Okay. And what you're saying is that James chapter 1, verse 22, like directly addresses that. Am I right in that? Because it says, be doers of the word and not hearers only. And then the last part of that verse is saying, deceiving yourselves. Terry, I was thinking like my dad, he's always said that some of the worst lies we tell are the ones we tell ourselves.
Oh, man. Isn't that true?
And it is true, because it's like, here's James in the New Testament, and it's instructional saying, listen, don't fool yourself. This is not for you to roll up in there and hear it and have a good time and be entertained for an hour or two. It's for you to apply it to your life.
Yeah, I love what you said there too as you started this thing. It's he's saying don't be deceived, because what will happen is we'll take that Ephesians 2 and say, well, I've been saved by grace, and so how I live my life doesn't really matter. God's gracious and kind to forgive, and that's true. But we'll let that be motivation to think that how we live our lives doesn't matter. And James said if we're living that way, we're deceived.
Hmm.
We've lied to ourselves if we think, even after we've been saved, how we live our lives doesn't matter.
Right. So, Terry, is it sort of what we're talking about here? Is it sort of getting at the idea of like corporate worship services, singing music, listening to preaching, and what the purpose of all that really is? Is that kind of what we're getting at?
I think so, Matt. Not just that, but even, that, plus, devotionals. People read devotionals, and they'll check it and get it done. And sometimes we'll go to a sermon, and we do it because in the South it's what we do on Sunday and kind of fits into the program. And we miss out on it. Really, we ought to go with our hearts saying, Lord, teach me something. Or even when we spend time in the Word in the morning, teach me something about you. Teach me something about me, and direct my steps according to your instruction. Don't let me just see this as entertainment. Boy, I enjoyed that this morning.
Oh.
But the idea of, God, thank you for that. Now use it to change me.
Wow. Terry Fant on your radio right now. Okay, so mine and everybody else's toes are getting stepped on when we think about.
Well, hey, don't think I'm outside of that group as well.
Sure. Right, because what you said, okay, so the scripture you just quoted, directing my steps. And I think about Psalms where it says, he will direct our paths. Well, if he's directing my steps, that's a physical thing, like what I'm actually doing. My faith is in him, and he, through that relationship, will direct my steps. It's not, I can't be standing still and somebody direct my steps, I guess is what we're saying.
Yeah, certainly. And the rest of that scripture in James, and there's an illustration that I like to tell. because he says if we look in the mirror of God's law and his word, and it shows us, I'm paraphrasing here, some things maybe in our lives that need to change, or some things that have changed, then he says what we need to do is apply it. But if we don't, if we walk away from the word and the message, and we don't make any changes, and he says we're like a person who saw himself in the mirror and walked away and forgot what he really looked like,
Mm-hmm.
And so years ago, my youngest girl, Grace, she's 19 now, but she was little. She was at home with Daddy, and I was getting ready. She was going with me to hospital visit, and so I had given her a chocolate cupcake for breakfast because Daddy's an all-star. And she had eaten that thing. She's about 5 years old. And she came in there, it was about time to get ready to go, and she had chocolate cupcake all over her face. And, man, I told her, I said, now, baby, that's those times you're trying to get them to do stuff for themselves. I said, go in there and look in the mirror and see what needs to be done. So she goes back in the mirror. I hear her sliding her little stool in there, and I hear her laughing because she sees her reflection. And so a few minutes go by, and I say, well, all right, let's go. And she comes around the corner, and her face has still got chocolate all over it. And I thought, man, now we're late,
Yeah.
And I went to the bathroom. I said, come on, let's go back in here and get our face cleaned. I looked in there. What happened, you could see where she pulled her chair up, looked in the mirror, saw what was off. Before she applied it, made the changes, cleaned the chocolate off, she went over to playing. There was some pile of toys there on the floor. I could see she had been distracted and got to playing.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that true about our lives? We want to look in the mirror of God's word, see what's off. What's off is that which doesn't look like Jesus. And then allow the Holy Spirit and the Word to make those changes.
Yeah. To apply.
So we don't leave out there with chocolate on our face.
That's a great analogy because it is true. We, some like little children, we get so easily distracted. I'm going to read this before we run out of time. So it's James 1:22 through 25. Those verses say, but be doers of the word, not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone's a hearer of the word, not a doer, he's like a man looking at him, observing his natural face in a mirror. For he observes himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of man he was. But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the word, this one will be blessed in what he does. It's pretty clear what he's saying right there, isn't it, Terry?
Yeah, and it's that last verse, Matt. Think about what he's saying there. When I look into the mirror of God's law, and by the way, what kind of reflection am I supposed to be seeing? I'm supposed to be looking like Jesus, a little more each day. And so when I see something that's off, if I'll let the Holy Spirit and the Word bring change, then he said, whatever I do, he'll be blessed in whatever he does. Now, who don't want the blessing of God in what you do?
Right.
It
Everybody.
doesn't come by just saying, well, how I live doesn't matter.
No, that's right. It doesn't come that way. So for those listening, you want to read that yourself. It's James chapter 1, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Be doers of the word and not hearers only. It's more than going and being entertained for a couple of hours on Sunday morning. Terry, once again, appreciate you. Love you. You the man. And have a great weekend. Thanks for being here.
Man, thank you, Matt. We're cooking pancakes for these Florence Eagles ahead of this football game, so enjoy your weekend, man.
Let's do it. Go Eagles. All right. Talk to you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. That's Terry Fant, pastor at Hickory Ridge and pancake flipper for the Florence Eagles tonight, game number 1. Y'all enjoy high school football tonight, college football this weekend. For Beaver, I'm Matt. All of us on the show. See you Monday. No, sorry. See you Tuesday. Monday's Labor Day. See y'all on Tuesday. See you then. See ya.